Well, I am impressed with you.
Really?
I didn't think, I kind of figured that you, Pete, were just some schmo on the internet who does a movie podcast. I didn't think that you had any, like, Hollywood pull. But having said that, I can't think that it's a coincidence that that we got the episode of Rings of Power that we got only several days after you said, you know, I really don't give a shit about the Hobbit storyline. Because there is no, this is the first episode where there is no furthering of that plot at all. We don't visit that at all. So Hollywood is listening. Pete doesn't give a shit about the Hobbits. And yeah, congratulations.
I'm generally kind of flattered, but also confused, and it's a weird emotion, cocktail of emotions.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those, like, is my phone spying on me type of thing.
That's the worst. I actually had...
And
yeah. Well, I should say...
just kudos on them for, at the last second, going in and cutting all those scenes out, right? Like, obviously, originally the episode had hobbits in it. And then they were like, oh, shit. Like, we've made a mistake here.
That's what you mean. I genuinely was confused.
What did you think I meant?
I had no idea. I was, like, a little confused. Before
last week you were like, I don't care about these Harfoots. Like, I just don't care.
Yes.
And I'm like, oh, okay. And then the episode comes out, this week's episode comes out, and I'm watching it, and I'm like, son of a bitch, at no point do we go and interact with the hobbits at all. So
welcome to
your wish, sir.
Welcome to the Movie Men podcast. I am Peter, that is Brady. Thank you for joining episode 4 of our review of Rings of Power as they are released. I watched this episode, and throughout I thought, wonder when the hobbits are showing up, and progressively thought, this isn't happening, and it didn't happen. And I wasn't heartbroken about it. I wasn't.
No, clearly. Yeah. So that's Mazel Tov. I'm super happy for you. Mm-hmm. I mean, not that I'm in love with that storyline either, but I do, like, I need to know about who the hell is this, the meteor man. And so not getting any nuggets of what's going on there for the entire episode, it stung a little.
Sure. Yeah.
Should we jump into this, sir?
I think so.
All right. So I've only got a couple of notes.
That's all right.
So yeah, I don't know how you want to. I really enjoyed the opening. So I was super confused during the opening sequence because we get this dream sequence of the destruction of Numenor, much in the same way that Numenor will come to be destructed. Spoiler alert. That is what is going to happen to Numenor. But timeline-wise, it happening right now didn't make any sense. And so I was relieved to see that it was a dream sequence. But what a like, again, talking about how they have spared no expense from a CGI, special effects, visuals standpoint. It is like mass destruction. And if that is just a glimpse at what we're going to see when they do show us the destruction of Numenor, I am very excited for that.
Do you think we'll actually see it? I just wonder from a cinematic perspective if it's something that's more interesting to show tidbits or in glimpses versus like when we get to the timeline, here's a whole episode of like just 30 minutes of an island getting blown up.
Oh, no, we have to.
Okay.
No, we have to see it because... we have to, especially if the show's going to span 5 seasons. And one of the reasons being is that it's the destruction of Numenor that effectively leads to people like Elendil and Isildur making the final migration over to Middle Earth.
Yeah.
And so without that happening, so if this show is going to reach the point where all the rings are forged and we have the hopefully the War of the Last Alliance, then at that point Numenor is already gone.
Something I'm curious about, and I'm not as well versed on Tolkien extended universe as you are, so I would have brought this up in Two Towers if I had this kind of come full circle at that time, which I didn't. But a friend of the show, Marshall, is listening, and I'm not sure if he will listen to this, just because I'm not sure how he stands on this new series of
Is
Rings
he
of Power.
boycotting the show?
I don't know if I would say boycotting. I think at least I would say cautiously optimistic. I'm not sure if it's an issue of like if he doesn't have Amazon Prime and he's going to wait till it's all out and then get a subscription and watch it all. Like, I'm not sure what. I haven't had a discussion with him, so I'm not sure where he stands on that. But
yeah, I actively avoid discussions with him, so I also have not.
I don't. I seek.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Me neither.
But in Two Towers, the film, there's a piece of dialogue that Éowyn recites, and from my knowledge, it's actually not even her that says it in the book. It's Faramir, and I believe it's based on a dream, and it makes more sense coming from Faramir. But in the film anyway, it's this dialogue of Éowyn saying, she wakes up in the night, and Aragorn says, "What's wrong? What's wrong?" And Éowyn says, I dreamed I saw a great wave climbing over green lands and above the hills. I stood upon the brink, and it was utterly dark in the abyss before my feet. A light shone behind me, but I could not turn. I could only stand there waiting. Is that dream sequence, whether in the book or the film, is that supposed to be a vision of Numenor's demise?
That's interesting, and I can neither confirm nor deny. So the direct descendants of Numenor are the Gondorians. And more specifically,
which would make sense if Faramir's having this vision, at least just for continuity.
Yeah. So what kind of happens is like Numenor is destroyed. Isildur and Elendil and several others make the migration. Isildur founds Gondor. Elendil founds a kingdom up north, sort of where the Shire would be nowadays, or in the Third Age, anyways. Yeah. Isildur actually builds the city of. Oh, geez. The name changes. It's when he founds the city. It's Minas Idris. I could be completely butchering that. But it eventually gets taken over and captured by the Witch King, corrupted, and becomes Minas Morgul. And so but anyways, so they found that area. Now, Éowyn is from Rohan. And I have to think that there's probably some descendants. I don't really know. I don't have enough knowledge on the history of Rohan, and I will look into that this week so that I can come back with a little bit more information next week.
Cool.
So I don't know. I don't know if the Rohinian are also descendants of Numenor. Like, I don't know if they are Gondorians that are like, that's all cool, but we really like horses. I just don't know. But it's quite possible. I mean, she's
and like my understanding, potentially, if I'm remembering correctly, if that was Faramir's dialogue, it could have just been a creative choice of the film team saying, we like this dialogue, this sequence, but Faramir's not here for another film, so we'll give it to Éowyn, and it makes sense. It could be one of those decisions too.
Right. I mean, if it was Faramir, then that makes that makes a little more sense that it could be Numenor.
Yeah.
Not that Faramir, Faramir and Boromir and their father Denethor, they're not descendants of Elendil. They would be from. They're of the people from Numenor, certainly. Sure. But that's sort of the whole. That's why Denethor was not actually the rightful. Like, he's not a king.
He's a steward.
He's a steward.
Yes.
Right. And yeah. So Faramir and Boromir and Denethor, their reign over Gondor is simply because there was, the final king in the line of people who we could track down, who we knew where they were, because at this point Aragorn Elisar is hiding. He's a Dunedain ranger up, looking out over the Shire and stuff like that. So reign of Gondor passes on to the stewardship. But yeah, so I don't know. That could be like in Tolkien's universe and in his writings, I wouldn't put it past it that he could be having, like, Faramir certainly wasn't around for the destruction of
course,
right? Because we're talking
thousands,
like 2,500 years.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's interesting. And so one of the reasons, but like Aragorn is a direct descendant from them. And that's one of the reasons. Well, that's one of the reasons why, like, the Númenóreans, part of them being given the island of Númenor from the elves, is part of that gift is also unnaturally long life for humans, right? Númenóreans live much longer than regular men. Hence why Aragorn is 210 years old when he finally dies as king. So that is because of his Númenórean lineage. But yeah. So I don't know if that's, but I'm going to make a note right now because I do want to look into that, and it's quite possible.
I'm intrigued.
Eowyn Dream Númenor? Question mark. Okay, cool. We get a bunch of cool things in this episode. A bunch of plot furtherings, some theories confirmed, I will say. First of all, we get our first look at the Palantiri, or the Palentia.
Yes.
Which is fun, and is
fun.
Is another good connecting tissue for the casual Tolkien fan.
Yes.
So that's good. My theory that what the dwarves are hiding. Do you remember what my theory was, sir?
I do, but that you called it.
And what did I say it was?
You said it was Mithril.
Yes. And what did it turn out to be, sir?
It turned out to be Euthril.
Yeah. So I was close. No, it is in fact Mithril. And so that's exciting, I think. And that's kind of a fun that's kind of a fun thing. One other sort of like Tolkienism thing is in Tolkien's writings, in his world in Middle-earth, oaths, if you make an oath, it holds a lot of power. Like, an oath isn't just a promise. An oath has sort of like, not magical properties, but like, an oath is not easily broken. Hence the oath breakers, the undead army, the undead king.
Oh, yeah.
Right? In the Lord of the Rings, the ones that that chickened out and didn't go fight in the War of the Last Alliance.
Yes.
Right? And Isildur curses them because they broke their oath to come fight. And so when Durin looks at Elrond and says, put your hand on the rock and I need your oath, right? If you break this oath, if you talk to anyone about this, it will be bad fortune not only for you but your kin and your descendants and all this stuff. That is what's on the line. Like, that's not just him being a bit of a melodramatic dick. It's serious business, this oath.
Yeah, obvious it seems.
Yeah. We get our first look at Adar,
Yes,
the leader of the orcs. Yeah.
yes. For some reason,
Took you a
in
sec.
my notes, I autocorrected to Orondor, and I'm on the same page.
No.
What did you think of him?
I have got no. There is no. I'll start by saying there's no literacy background for this guy. Mm-hmm. He didn't pop up and I went, oh, this is so and so, the fallen elf or the dark elf, Adar, blah blah blah.
Sure.
I think he's menacing.
Yes.
I think he's mysterious. He's creepy as hell.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I feel like that introduction did everything for me that they intended for it to do. I'm quite curious to see where this villain goes and if we can get a little bit of backstory, who he is. Obviously he's an elf. But is he like, he's kind of like, he's kind of like what's her face, the second sister or something from the Obi-Wan Kenobi series.
Oh, yeah.
Where she's on the bad guy's side, but also wants to be like, doesn't seem like he is interested in, like, his long game, his end game is not to take orders, is not to be a subsidiary of Sauron. Right. He seems to, like, he's talking about like, I'm not a god yet. Right. He is seeking immense power and through that, I don't know, it seems quite dangerous, but
yeah,
I'm really excited about Adar. What about you?
I think with Adar, I was a little disappointed, and visually, when we saw his shadow and his silhouette at the end of episode 3, as the episode cut and kind of left us on a hanger, I visually had something quite different pictured for him, and it just, what we saw didn't meet my expectations, and that disappointed me. I wanted something different. So we saw Adar, and he had some fair components to him, but he was quite menacing and quite like rigid, and like his clothing and his appearance had some rugged elements to it. And when I saw his silhouette in episode 3, and what I wanted him to be was a very fair and like opposite to the orc like creature, whether it be a fallen elf, but just one who still looked fair and not menacing. And there was just something stylistically about that I really wanted. Just this huge contrast to the orcs, where I feel like in almost most Middle Earth that we've seen in film, it's like with the leader of the orcs is just someone just as equally gross who has like one eye, a tumor, and like stitches across his face. Like, I wanted something just stylistically that was such a contrast, that was like in horror movies when they use something that's a normal object but it's scary because of the context. In this circumstance, because someone was so fair, it was kind of weird and out of place and therefore like menacing. And I think it would have been kind of in line, and I say this lightly, but it's not gospel, but I still think it's a fun point. When even in the Fellowship of the Ring, when the hobbits meet Strider, and they're questioning amongst themselves, should we trust Strider? And Frodo says, essentially yes, because I think an enemy of I think a agent of the enemy would appear more fair than this guy does. So I feel like kind of like a wolf in sheep's clothing kind of situation. I just wanted Adar to be like very elf-like, very opposite in nature to orcs. So I think just that, for some reason, I really built that up in my mind, and I was just a bit disappointed.
Sure. I think actually a really great Middle-earth comparison would be in The Hobbit, even though, like, bigger picture, Thranduil and like the
yes,
he's not evil.
Yeah.
but he certainly is an antagonist as far as the Hobbit and the journey to reclaim Erebor goes. And really, so are all of the woodland elves in Mirkwood. But they're still gorgeous creatures. Right? So you have this fair, beautiful elf who is kind of a thorn in our side and a little menacing and a little like, So no, So am I hitting the nail on the head there?
I think so. Yeah. Cause I don't have really any disappointment with him cause his on-screen moments were fine and I really enjoyed them. It's more just, they didn't meet what I had built up in my mind and maybe a direction I would have preferred.
Well, so you may still get that itch scratched. If we get to see, I assume we will get to see Sauron as the Lord of Gifts when he approaches Celebrimbor. And in that case, he should be quite beautiful and quite fair and quite,
That would be interesting.
So, and I mean, that will be the ultimate because you'll know who this guy is and what he's capable of and that he's like, this big baddie Maiar, but that he's appearing as this, beautiful, generous creature.
Right. Yeah.
So, I almost cried during this episode.
Really? When?
Yeah. The stuff when the conversation when Prince Durin approaches his father and says, I'm sorry and all this stuff and is expecting to be not outcast by his father but sort of reprimanded. And and King Durin says, he goes on this whole thing about the dwarfs believe that a king is endowed with all of his the kings that have come past their failures and their successes and their dreams and whatever else. And he says, but you don't have to wait for that or something. Like, I am always with you through success, through anger, and it's just like this beautiful, like emotional tear-jerking thing. And I'm like, like, I don't know. I'm like, it almost got me, but I'm guessing it didn't almost get you.
I liked the qualities that you described. Like, I did like this emotional connection between this father-son character and the significance of it. I think just maybe the show kind of dolled up or played into a bit more some tropes of misleading the audience. They pan to the father who's almost essentially pouting on the throne, and the son kind of whimpers in, and then they kind of switch the narrative and kind of flip it upside down so that it is this emotional connection of the father saying, essentially these other things don't matter, more so I'm with you, and these, you and I matter kind of thing. So I think I liked elements of it. I just don't think I appreciated how kind of they got a little tropey or kind of misleading the audience a bit, or at least that's how I perceived it.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I am.
No, it's fine. So Tolkien is historically very, he was a Christian.
Okay.
And all throughout the Lord of the Rings, much like C.S. Lewis did, he uses a lot of like Christian analogies and themes and stuff in his. Did you pick up on, I'm curious, I would say that there is a scene, there's a sequence in this episode that is very reminiscent of the biblical story of the crucifixion.
No, I didn't pick up on that.
So it's, for me, it was when they first put Galadriel on the boat and send her off.
Okay.
And then they bring her back, right? And they're like, oh, okay, actually, I'm going to go with you, and we're going to bring an army, and we're gonna all of a sudden we're on your side. And the reason they do that is because as she's leaving, all of the leaves start falling off of the tree, right? And it's talked about how it's believed that the when the leaves or the petals fall from the tree, it's because the Valar are displeased with them and so on and so forth, right? Or that they're doing wrong.
Yep.
And it just reminded me of the biblical, the moment in the story of the crucifixion where, they crucify him and then like the ground shake or the sky darkens and the ground like cracks and the curtains fall from the temple and stuff. And it's just like, the Jews kind of have this, oh shit moment.
Right.
And to me, it was just it was just so similar as the Galadriel is sailing away on this boat and all of a sudden, they have, Muriel has this like, oh shit. Okay, bring her back kind of moment.
Yeah, almost like
so
the boat's,
to me, I gotta
almost like the boat's tied to a string and they start pulling it back like at that exact second.
Yeah. So to me, I just got a big kick out of that.
Yeah, interesting. I did not pick up on that at all, but I definitely see the similarities that you point out.
Cool. Those are all the notes I have. Do you have anything else?
That's about it. This is the one that I had the least notes as well. I will say, just in summary, if I had to summarize this episode, it would be the sound of a deflating balloon sound. As much as I thought I would like an episode without the hobbits, which I didn't miss them by any means, I just felt this episode compared to the heights that we had in episode 2 and episode 3, I felt like this episode really kind of had a tempo issue. And as far as answering questions or moving things along, I suppose. There were great moments, there were great scenes, and again, as every episode of this show has, there's amazing visual moments of sunrises and pan shots and different things. But I just feel like of the information that was dropped in episode 2 and information that was dropped in episode 3, I just feel like the train kind of stalled a bit, and it just kind of felt like maybe more of a filler episode, or at least less substantially moving things along. So,
sure. Do you find the episode short for you?
Hit or miss. I mean, I think
I know they're long. They're like an hour and change.
I think it depends on my enjoyment, because the episodes I haven't enjoyed as much, I thought, okay, that was a bit long. The episodes I enjoyed, I thought that was a great length. So it's really dependent.
Yeah. I think for me, it's just because when I sit down and start to get into something Middle Earth, like a Tolkien thing, I think I'm just very quickly prepared for 3 hours.
Oh, yeah, fair.
Right?
Yeah.
This is going to be a long journey. This is going to be this. And so for me, it's like, okay, now I got to wait another week.
Right.
And I mean, I get it. That's the way a show works. And the episodes are longer than they certainly could be,
of course,
and typically would be if they were regular TV episodes.
Exactly.
But yeah, it just, each week when it ends, I'm like, no, give me more. Like, keep going.
That's fair.
Tell me what happens next. I don't know how, like, between season 1 and season 2, I'm going to be...
Right.
Yeah. Especially if it ends on a cliffhanger, surely it will.
I'm having trouble just getting, like, today we're recording the day before the next episode comes out, and it's already been a long enough week where I'm going, like, come on, guys, can you just drop this a bit sooner? Like, yeah, when the break between season 1 and season 2 occurs, it's just,
It's going to be tough.
It will be tough.
It's going to be tough. Win or fail for you, sir, this episode?
I would say it's a fail. Yeah. I just, like I said, just really didn't move things along for me, and it had some moments that were enjoyable, and I just generally, I'm not sure this was up there as far as like episode 2 and 3 were for me. Where do you agree, or where do you stand on it?
Yeah, I think this is the first episode that I would say was a miss.
Yep.
I mean, still some important things happen.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
And like, I don't think you could skip this episode by any means.
No.
But it just, something was missing. It didn't have quite the same pull and draw as the previous 3. So specifically the second 2, episode 2 and 3.
Right. Yep. That's
so
right.
Cool. Wrap it up, sir.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for joining us and listening. Please like and follow and subscribe. Check out our Patreon page, merchandise page. Help us support the show and pay bills and keep the lights on. Winter's coming, so we will need to turn the furnace on and get a lump of coal here and there. So we do appreciate our Patreon supporters and are always open to new ones. And we look forward to next week, where we review the next episode of Rings of Power.
Yeah.
60 million's a lot of money, man. Like, that's a lot of
It's
moolah.
so much. It's so much.
And
But
I
it
don't
looks
mean this
beautiful,
is I don't
so-
mean this is a critique, because I like this show, you know, generally. Like, I mean, it's not perfect and we're ripping it apart just because we critique things, and visually it's stunning, but it's just wild. Like, that's what $60 million gets you. And I don't mean that as a rip. Like, it's just like $60 million is a lot of money, and like, yes, it's good, but it's not like you've got, I don't know what I'd want to see for $60 million, I guess.
I would be really curious to see what kind of new subscription numbers Amazon has seen as a result of this show.
Well, that's what it's about, right? Because, I mean, Amazon as an umbrella isn't hurting. I mean, newsflash, no one's surprised by that. But it's just a business venture. Yeah, it's like, okay, dollar for dollar, are you getting this back? You got to wonder, right?
Yeah, because you'll certainly notice it if next season the episode per episode budget is cut in half.
Yes.
Like, yeah, that will hurt.
Yeah.
Oh, well. All right.
All right. Well, till next time.